Clifton is a retired public servant. After providing 27 years of service to the citizens of Delaware, Mr. Howe provided 11 years of service in the administration of juvenile justice planning and coordination during dual tenures with the Delaware Criminal Justice Council from 1999 to 2006 and 2016 to 2020. Mr. Howe also provided 10 years of service as the state mental health planner for the Department of Health and Social Service Division of Substance and Mental Health from 2006 to 2016. In 2020, Clifton combined his public service career to Susan Rodney School District as he served as a coordinator for equity and diversity. Clifton is a product of Delaware's public education system, first receiving his high school diploma from Cape and Lopin High School and a bachelor's degree in political science from Delaware State University. DSU. Mr. Howe completed his graduate studies at Wilmington University, where he earned a master's degree in public administration. Clifton reinvested the education he received from his alma mater with current DSU students as he serves as an adjunct professor of history. Recently, Clifton joined the staff of the United Way of Delaware, where he works to enhance strategic partnerships with community-based organizations to enhance program engagement in underserved communities. He is the Associate Vice President of Engagement and Impact. Ladies and gentlemen, our keynote speaker for this evening, Mr. Clifton Howe.
So I hear the things that Deron mentioned. And out of all the things that he mentioned, one of the things that stands out, y'all heard that I'm a graduate from Cape and Lopin High School. One of the things that stands out is I'm a Sussex County boy. I'm not a good old boy, I'm a Sussex County boy. I'm proud of that. I carry that with me everywhere I go. There are people here, I see lots of familiar faces. There are people who connect with me from different places throughout the state. But I always make it known, it has always been known that I'm a Sussex County boy, and I'm very proud of that. Also, when I deliver these types of addresses to these audiences, and when I have the opportunity at an event such as this, right, to honor Dr. King and to talk about Dr. King's legacy, particularly here, it reminds me of my family's own walk and my family's own mission. See, I'm the great grandson of a man named Simon Woodrow Howe. He came from a place called Newland, North Carolina. Anybody here ever heard of Newland, North Carolina? We are Mill Pond Road, Newland. He brought his family here in the late 1940s in search of a better life. They came here largely because they wanted better economic opportunities, but also because he wanted to escape and flee some of the very things that Dr. King was fighting and talking about. I grew up as a boy hearing about some of those things. I was taken down roads by my great uncle and shown places in this county and was reminded and told how things were when they got here. That's in my lifetime. Yes. I've broken bread with people from the Milford 13. I've broken bread with people from the Robinson Segregated School in Robinsonville outside of Lewis, who many of you may not know is the last school in Delaware to integrate. So when I talk to you and I have this opportunity, and I have the opportunity to share Dr. King's vision, know and understand, I do it painted with the backdrop that I've lived some of this. Not personally. I never experienced segregation. I'm the first generation to not experience segregated schools here in Delaware. But trust and believe, I got firsthand accounts of what it was like right here. So as we come here tonight to ponder what Dr. King's legacy means to each of us and the importance of his message, we gather not merely to mark a date on the calendar, but to honor a life that reshaped the conscience of this nation and redefined the meaning of justice, courage, love, and sacrifice. This year carries a special connotation, as it also marks the 40th year of the recognized federal holiday and the 1-year mark of the rollout and implementation of the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025, which is reshaping United States policy verbatim. See, Dr. King once reminded the world that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Those words remain as urgent today as when they were first spoken. See, they call us together, not only to reflect, but to recommit ourselves to the unfinished work of justice. It is fitting that since the inception of the federal holiday, groups and organizations have adopted a motto, a day of service and not a day off. If you would, please raise your hand if you provided service today in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King. Thank you so much. See, this is critical because Dr. King's sacrifice of valuable time with his family and loved ones through his service in pursuit of social justice is what set America on a new course, a better course, where everybody in America could be judged based on the content of their character and not the color of their skin. Be reminded that there was a moral foundation to Dr. King's leadership. Dr. King's leadership was rooted in faith and moral conviction. Dr. King believed that justice was not optional. It was a divine mandate. He declared, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice." See, Dr. King understood that expediency is not the measure of progress, as progress often comes slowly. But Dr. King never wavered in his belief that the truth, when pursued with courage and conviction, would prevail. I'm reminded that Dr. King subscribed to agitation versus accommodation as a means to confronting racial justice. I'm about to date myself a little bit, but some of you who are familiar with the mechanical design of a washing machine will recall that item in the center that protrudes from the bottom of the drum. That thing that goes back and forth. See, that's an agitator. See, y'all got to understand the purpose of an agitator is this. That drum minus the agitator plus water plus soap equals dirty clothes. It takes that agitator to lift them stains and to get those clothes clean. The lesson here is it takes action to affect change. Change doesn't happen on its own or when left to one's own devices. Dr. King ascended to national prominence during the Montgomery bus boycott, which was a movement born out of dignity and collective sacrifice. There he reminded America, we are not wrong if we protest courageously for our rights. From Birmingham to Selma, Dr. King exposed the cruelty of segregation and forced this nation to confront the reality of racial injustice. During the iconic I Have a Dream speech, Dr. King challenged America's conscience, declaring, "I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed, that all men are created equal." That dream, that speech, helped inspire the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the subsequent Voting Rights Act of 1965 and Fair Housing Act of 1968. Together, they collectively reshaped the American democracy. Sadly, it was pushback to this progress that would bring his earthly journey to a violent end by way of an assassin's bullet. The irony of the demise of Dr. King, who was skilled in the Gandhian principle of Satyagraha, which means nonviolent resistance, does not go unnoticed. A central focus of Dr. King's philosophy was nonviolence, but not as a weakness, as a strength. Yes. Dr. King taught us, nonviolence is a powerful and just weapon which cuts without wounding and enables the man who wields it. Dr. King and his circle of influence believed love was the most powerful force available to humanity when he boldly proclaimed, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. And hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." As Americans across all walks of life continue to grapple with rising costs of goods for food and other necessities, I'm reminded that Dr. King's last movement centered around economic justice, which he referred to as the forgotten struggle. See, Dr. King believed civil rights without economic justice was incomplete. Dr. King inquired of this nation, What good is it to have the right to sit at a lunch counter if you can't afford the hamburger? Dr. King organized the Poor People's Campaign, calling attention to poverty, unemployment, and economic inequality. He boldly stated, the problem of poverty is not that we lack resources, but that we lack the will. Y'all don't hear me. He said, not that we lack the resources, we lack the will.
We lack the will. Still.
So how can we have the most impact today? That's by defending the right to vote in this process. Dr. King held that voting was essential to freedom and dignity. During the Selma campaign, he declared, the vote is precious. It's the most powerful nonviolent tool we have in a democratic society. Because of the sacrifices made in Selma and beyond, millions gained access to the ballot. Those sacrifices included beatings, broken bones, and even the loss of life to acquire the franchise. Dr. King also knew that eternal vigilance would be required to protect that right. This is our call to arms today, as there are attempts to eliminate voting opportunities by way of harmful voting restrictions in many of the same places where Dr. King and others fought vehemently, or where calls for gerrymandering are aimed at diluting the voice of voters of color in a way that will render them ineffective.
Yes, it is.
As I hear a consistent chorus from the highest office in America that either degrades whole swaths of people by calling their nation of origin S-hole countries, or erroneously stating that individuals of color are residing in certain communities that are eating cats and dogs, that I'm reminded that Dr. King held a global vision for peace and human rights. I ponder openly, what would Dr. King think of the current involvement in Nigeria, Venezuela, potentially Greenland? Then the scholar within me reminds me that Dr. King's commitment to justice extended beyond the United States. We remember that he courageously spoke out against the Vietnam War, understanding that violence abroad undermined justice at home. Remember, Dr. King said, a nation that continues year after year to spend more money on military defense than on programs of social uplift is approaching a spiritual death. As this country's biggest single budget line item continues to be defense funding, and there are actively people in positions of leadership boasting about America's military prowess and the intent to be the dominant force in the Western Hemisphere, while levels of American poverty continue to climb, it is abundantly clear to me that Dr. King had his finger firmly planted on the pulse of this matter. Let us also not forget that it was his bold rebuke of military force abroad that led him to being ostracized and banned from speaking in the pulpit at the time of his death. Let this be a reminder to our faith-based leaders among us, many who have that picture of Dr. King hanging in the sanctuary, that he still watches. And you still have an obligation to not only feed your flock spiritually, but to also fight for justice and social equality. See, this is what we call the social gospel.
Come on.
If you're clergy and you came here knowing the state of despair in this country, but you hope that this speaker would ignore what people are actually experiencing in favor of a message of false unity, then you are missing Dr. King's example of courage in the ultimate proclamation of truth. See, Dr. King's ultimate vision was not division, but transformation. See, he dreamed of the beloved community, a society grounded in justice, compassion, and shared humanity. Dr. King taught us, peace is not merely the absence of tension, it's the presence of justice. Dr. King often reminded us that history is shaped by moral choices, and he challenged each generation when he said, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Honoring Dr. King requires more than remembrance, though. It comes with responsibility, and it requires action. As we celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., let us remember his call to action. Let us make this more than a moment. Let's make the commitment to the reincarnation of a movement. See, he urged us. Everybody can be great because everybody can serve. With a watchful eye to the future, I'm also reminding you all and reminded that Dr. King was a man born of flesh and bone. He was not unflawed. His legacy is not that of a perfect person, but that of a person who perfectly understood the human cause. Yes. This is important because as we celebrate the 40th year of the federal holiday and commemorate the 58th year since his passing, there are once again calls to repeal this holiday. Currently, there are people who inform federal policy that want to see Dr. King's contributions to American progress rolled back because of information contained in documents from the FBI's COINTELPRO initiative, which you may or may not know was aimed at limiting and eliminating black leadership. We must protect Dr. King's legacy of peace, love, and courage in furtherance of mankind, while distancing any flaws he may have had from those in comparison that dehumanized, maimed, or promoted the subjugation of people in furtherance of wealth. If we are not careful and intentional, we may not have a 41st anniversary of this federal holiday. May we leave this place here today committed not only to remembering his work, but to live in his legacy of standing for justice, choosing love over hate, and bending the arc of the moral universe towards justice. Dr. King's dream lives on through all of us. Thank you.